And now, this week's IRIS Orchestra Music Minute, a weekly look at the many facets of music. Our host, Michael Stern, is the music director of IRIS Orchestra and the Kansas City Symphony.
Last week, we started a kind of mini-series of IRIS Orchestra Minute installments of a sort of summer school. And we started with a quick look back at the eras of Western music history, beginning with Gregorian chant. Chant is in some ways like the single-celled organism of art music. It was limited to one line of music, and the notation didn't convey any sense of tempo or meter. But the real advancement that made it so important was the notation itself. Now, musicians had a new way to think about music and transmit it. They could communicate musical ideas by writing them down. In the Middle Ages, many skilled artisans worked anonymously, as did those sculptors and stonemasons and architects who built the great cathedrals of Europe. But we do have a couple of early named composers, and in fact, the very first important composer we have written records from is Hildegard of Bingen, an incredibly erudite and innovative abbess in Germany, who wrote astonishingly original, elaborate devotional music in the first half of the 12th century. Hildegard's music, though elaborate and beautiful, was still written essentially in a single line. But 100 years or so later, in Paris, composers working around the site of the Cathedral of Notre Dame, still under construction, began layering new melodic lines over slowed-down chunks of chant, creating the first written examples of polyphonic, that is, multi-layered music. And with this innovation, the whole system of harmony begins to form.
Michael Stern is the music director of IRIS Orchestra of Germantown, Tennessee, and the Kansas City Symphony. Tickets and more information can be found at irisorchestra.org.